Israel, a small yet diverse country, boasts a unique landscape, from coastal plains to highlands and even a desert in the south. But its significance goes far beyond geography. Israel is the only Jewish nation in the modern world, with a history dating back to ancient times. It's been ruled by empires, caliphates, and mandates, each leaving its mark. Today, Israel's identity is shaped by this rich past. So, let's dive into this video today to uncover Israel's profound role in end-time prophecy, merging history and revelation. According to the scriptures, God made it abundantly clear that Israel held a unique and special place among the nations. The prophet Isaiah conveyed this divine message when he declared, "Yet hear now, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen." Isaiah chapter 44 verse 1. This chosen status was not arbitrary, but rooted in God's deliberate plan. God's selection of Israel went beyond ordinary reasoning. He referred to them as holy people chosen by the Lord, and they held a distinctive position as a special treasure above all the peoples on the face of the earth. It wasn't because they were more numerous or superior to other nations. They were among the least of all peoples. Yet, the driving force behind God's choice was His deep love and commitment. He was faithful to His covenant with their forefathers, leading them out of Egyptian bondage with a mighty hand and delivering them from Pharaoh's rule. Deuteronomy chapter 7 verses 6 to 8. This divine selection of Israel as a chosen nation is a sign of God's unwavering love and faithfulness to His people throughout history, illustrating a unique relationship with them among all the nations of the world. So why did God choose Israel? God's choice of Israel was rooted in a twofold purpose. First and foremost, it fulfilled a promise God made to Abraham, the great patriarch. This promise, repeated through Abraham's descendants Isaac and Jacob, guaranteed the growth and possession of the land of Canaan by his progeny. Genesis chapter 12 verse 3. Abraham's unwavering faith, characterized by diligent obedience to God's commands, played a pivotal role in this divine promise. Genesis chapter 26 verses 3 to 5. The second purpose behind God's selection of Israel was to exemplify a model nation. They were to serve as a living testament to God's ways and demonstrate the blessings that followed obedience and the consequences of disobedience. As stated in the book of Isaiah, Israel was referred to as my servant and the descendants of Abraham, my friend. Isaiah chapter 41 verse 8. The significance of this role became more evident when recognizing that through Abraham's descendants, the Messiah would eventually emerge, becoming a source of blessing for all the families of the earth. Genesis chapter 12 verse 3. God had a profound vision for Israel. They were to be a kingdom of priests and a holy nation, demonstrating the close relationship between obedience to God and the resulting blessings. Exodus chapter 19 verse 6. The neighboring nations were meant to witness that Israel thrived when they followed God's laws. Exodus chapter 19 verse 5. Conversely, disobedience led to consequences and divine correction, as depicted in Deuteronomy 28. Prior to entering Canaan, Moses emphasized this critical concept to the Israelites, teaching them God's statutes and judgments. He reminded them that their adherence to these divine instructions would be an example to other people. Obedience would demonstrate their wisdom and understanding, showing that they were a blessed nation due to their proximity to God. Moses asked, "For what great nation is there that has God so near to it, as the Lord our God is to us, for whatever reason we may call upon Him?" Deuteronomy chapter 4 verses 5 to 7. However, an unfortunate deviation from God's path led Israel to forsake their intended role as servants to God and a blessing to the nations. Their deviation often led them to perceive themselves as superior to others, neglecting God's warning that their obedience and fidelity to the covenant were essential to remain a special treasure to God above all people. Exodus chapter 19 verse 5. If God chose Israel, why there's an attack on Israel? Palestinian militants have recently launched the most significant assault on Israel in years. In a multifaceted attack, Hamas militants infiltrated parts of southern Israel while unleashing a relentless rocket barrage from the Gaza Strip. Tragically, this assault resulted in the death of at least one woman, and 15 others sustained injuries, compelling Israel to declare a state of war. The gravity of the situation was further underscored as Hamas militants were observed opening fire at Israeli civilians and chasing their vehicles. The aggression escalated when Palestinian militants reportedly breached a festival attended by hundreds of Israelis celebrating the Shemini Atzeret holiday. The armed and indiscriminate militants fired rounds of bullets, instilling fear among the festive crowd. Israeli media documented the infiltration of Hamas fighters into Israel, utilizing both seized Israeli army vehicles on land and parachutes for an airborne assault. The conflict unfolded across various parts of southern Israel, suspending commercial operations at airports in central and southern regions. Tel Aviv Airport, though on high alert, continued limited operations. A state of war in Israel. In response to the unprecedented assault by Palestinian armed group Hamas, Israel declared a state of war after enduring a barrage of over 5,000 rockets launched from the Gaza Strip. The attack resulted in the tragic loss of around 300 lives, including a mayor, and left over 1,590 individuals injured. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, in a video statement, emphasized that Israel was not merely conducting an operation, but was at war, vowing that Hamas would pay the price for its actions. He ordered the cleansing of settlements infiltrated by terrorists and initiated a large-scale mobilization of reserves. To counter the aggression, Israel launched Operation Iron Swords, a comprehensive counteroffensive targeting Hamas in the Gaza Strip. The Israeli military confirmed the infiltration of Hamas fighters into Israel, achieved through both land, utilizing seized Israeli army vehicles and air, with the aid of parachutes. Fighting erupted across various southern Israeli regions, leading to the suspension of commercial operations at airports in central and southern parts, except for Tel Aviv Airport, which remained on high alert. The situation escalated further as the death toll continued to rise in Gaza. Anticipations of a ground offensive heightened tensions in the region. In response to the threat posed by Hamas, Israel designated the group as a terrorist organization. What role does Israel have in the end times? Just like the recent attack by Hamas, whenever some conflicts arise in or around Israel, many people interpret them as signs of the approaching end times. However, there's a difference between everyday conflicts from prophetically significant events. While historical tensions surround Israel, conflicts alone aren't reliable indicators of the end times. Israel has faced persecution from various nations throughout its existence, reflecting a spiritual battle outlined in the Bible. The ongoing conflicts aren't merely geopolitical, but rooted in a spiritual opposition against God's plan for Israel. This enmity, guided by a satanic influence, seeks the destruction of Israel and opposition to its God. Despite historical persecutors like Sennacherib, Haman, Hitler, and modern figures like Rouhani, Israel remains resilient. The Bible predicts that conflicts will persist until the second coming of Christ. Therefore, ongoing tensions in Israel do not necessarily signal the imminent arrival of the end times, but this event is the beginning of the rapture. However, the Bible does outline specific events associated with the end times. According to biblical prophecy, firstly, there will happen a mass return of Jews. The scriptures, Deuteronomy chapter 30 verse 3, Isaiah chapter 43 verse 6, Ezekiel chapter 34 verses 11 to 13, etc., predict a mass return of Jews to the land of Israel. Next, a covenant with the Antichrist. A 7-year peace covenant between Israel and the Antichrist is foretold in Isaiah chapter 28 verse 18 and Daniel chapter 9 verse 27. And there will be a rebuilding of the temple, which is currently happening, as indicated in Daniel chapter 9 verse 27, Matthew chapter 24 verse 15, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verses 3 and 4, Revelation chapter 11 verse 1. Next, there will be persecution and invasion. The Antichrist breaking the covenant leads to global persecution and an invasion of Israel, Daniel chapter 9 verse 27, Zechariah chapter 11 verse 16, Matthew chapter 24 verse 15, Revelation chapter 12 verse 13, Ezekiel chapters 38 and 39. Finally, recognition of Jesus. Ultimately, Israel will recognize Jesus as their Messiah, Zechariah chapter 12 verse 10, and a regeneration, restoration, and regathering of Israel will occur, Jeremiah chapter 33 verse 8, Ezekiel chapter 11 verse 17, Romans chapter 11 verse 26. While current events in Israel, marked by persecution and hostility, echo the biblical prophecies, it's essential to heed Jesus' caution in Matthew chapter 24 verse 4 to 6. Jesus emphasizes that conflicts and wars will occur, but don't necessarily signal the immediate end. But they do indicate the arrival of rapture or end times is near. What do you think of Israel's role in the end times? Comment below and subscribe for more.